This goes out to all my associates, family members that I lost in 9/11. This goes out all to y'all, man. I miss y'all very much. My sisters. It's hard for me right now. It's really hard. I got a divorce, you know. It was a nasty divorce, dirty divorce. Divorce judge allowed perjury, false evidence, and everything. And I'm in a racist state called Minnesota right now. Now I'm fighting a case. I got notified by some people, and they couldn't believe that when they looked up the case that they charged me with, threats of violence. It was so in my YouTube video, I couldn't make it to court because it was snowing. It had a snowstorm in Minnesota, January 3rd. And so we keep looking at this and going over the recording, my videos and stuff, and they misled the courts. That's why the videos got to be played in court, the whole video from YouTube, you know, because it says, I state in there that it says right here in my printout too, right there in my printout on my video, which states that I'm coming after y'all by the laws that give me the right to sue you in federal court for violation of my constitutional rights, violation of court hearings, violation for perjury, false evidence, all of that's on the video that they try to say that I threatened somebody with, right? So they don't put that in this report that they did. You know, they just said, because you violated his constitutional rights. Oh, you only put that part in there, but you don't put the whole thing in there. This is how the courts submits false probable causes. Even the judge, if the judge would have seen the whole videos and stuff, there was no probable cause to arrest me because I have a constitutional right to say what I want to say. United States courts even ruled that. So this guy, he puts in there, the constitutional rights does not, threats of violence, the constitutional rights does not prohibit threats of violence. There's no such thing as threats of violence in the Constitution whatsoever. The original Constitution and the Constitution that was passed, Congress shall make no laws to infringe on the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. Congress shall make no laws. And that's what I'm going to challenge them with. You know, was I emotional that day? Yeah, I was emotional. I was tore up, you know, and everything. And then they violate my rights by not getting me in speedy trial. And this judge allows that. So this judge is going to already file a complaint on this judge and also a dismissal. Now it goes to federal court and the appeals court. All right, this is straight retaliation. First of all, the video was informed by a Johnson, called different sheriff's departments to have me locked up. This person's been trying to have me locked up for the longest. And let's see, what's the motive? She's racist. She hates me because I used to talk to her ex-husband. We used to be close friends, but we're not no more. All right. Let's see. She was going through a divorce and she wanted my wife to write a letter that her ex abused her. I should have let her though. I should have let her. You know, I should have let my ex-wife write that letter. You know, it's none of my business. But this is how they lie on a probable cause. They put cases in here that's already been ruled at and everything else overturned. Okay, number one. So this is what they want to do. And they got to understand that the United States Superior Court ruled for each violation that a court does, a judge do, I could sue them for $150,000 a day. You see. And then this guy, he goes, the First Amendment prohibits the government from abandoning the freedom of speech under something, which doesn't make no sense. Notice that the First Amendment applies to the state through the 14th Amendment. The First Amendment established that the government has no power, which the government doesn't have no power to reestablish or rewrite the constitutional rights, even in messages, okay? And it's like, let me see, the judge is white. See, I want to get rid of these white judges, man, because they straight racist motherfuckers, man. They all racist. And they just racist, period. You know, this shouldn't even got filed, because they try to put in there that the people were alarmed. There was nobody alarmed. Nobody knew that I did this. Nobody knew that I did this. See, this is what this beautiful judge right here said. This is what we could say: freedom of speech, freedom of the press. And it says here, we can curse. We curse out the judges, curse out the police. We call them pigs. We call them dogs. We call them whatever we want to call them. Same thing. We could tell them that we're suing them. We could tell them that we're coming after you, what the constitutional right says we got a right to do. We're fighting in court. You see, we can say all of that. You know, we can say all of that. But I want y'all people to go to my YouTube on January 3rd, and you'll see where it says that I'm going to come after y'all what the law says I can do. See, what the law says I can do. I got the right to sue you in federal court, violation of my constitutional rights. Did not give me a fair trial in my divorce. The works. You allow false evidence and false perjury that was done by my ex-wife and by her attorney. Okay? My affidavit. I filed an affidavit and I filed the motion behind spousal maintenance. All right? Now, what's the best way to stop giving spousal maintenance? Get the person locked up. That's the best way. Okay? Now, this person calls the sheriffs. Sheriff calls another sheriff. Sheriff calls another sheriff. And it's in their report. One sheriff says there's nothing he's saying in there that's saying to anybody. You know, he's upset. He's mad, you know. For whatever happened to him, he's upset, which I was upset. Emotionally out there, man. You know, this judge did not even give me the opportunity to hear my motion, to allow me in court, or nothing. Did not. And so now I'm working on right now the lawsuits. I should be finished hopefully by tomorrow and get these filed out Tuesday, and have them mailed out to all of them defendants, you know. And that's what I'm going through right now. That's what I'm going through. I'm emotionally gone, man. You know, emotionally, physically, emotionally stressed out, you know, and it's yet these white people can threaten us. Police could threaten you, deputies could threaten you, but nothing happens to them. But when we fight back for our constitutional rights, we dangerous. When we say we're going to sue you, we dangerous. You see? So I'm looking at all of the views that happen on my YouTube. I have the FBI looked at it a couple of times. Homeland Security looked at it a lot. And their statements was that there's no threats there to neither judge or the state or the United States. No threats whatsoever. The man is upset. The guy is upset, very emotional. So I'm reading their comments, you know. And some say, I hope you do get the right to sue them. Because if what you say is true, they did violate your constitutional rights. And this comes from some law firm. They did violate your constitutional rights for any judge to allow perjury and false testimony in their courtroom, and false evidence should be removed off the bench immediately. I don't even understand, with all of the videos that you got about this, I don't understand why there's no investigation about the judges whatsoever. Then it's in violation of, I think you got your 7th Amendment, where you got the right to be, 7th or 6th Amendment, I can't read it all the way because it's halfway there, to be in court But you do have a legal ground on the motion of judgment. You can have the motion recalled. You can file a motion to have the judgment recalled and vacated, void, because you was not in court. They denied you that privilege to be in court. Whatever judge handled the motion, that judge knew from the beginning, yes, there was a storm in Minnesota on January 3rd. My mother lives out there, and I couldn't even go out to see her. Then he goes, they could have postponed it, because I remember all other cases was postponed too. From all courts in Minnesota was shut down from the snowstorm. So the judge had every right. The judge had by right and by the rules and regulations of the courts to postpone, period, for another court hearing. An affidavit cannot be removed or denied. An affidavit has to be heard no matter what. Good luck to you, sir. But we still don't see no violation of no threats of violence whatsoever. You look upset. You look emotionally down, emotionally depressed for what happened to you on January 3rd. Yeah, I was. I was very emotionally depressed. Still am, you know. And then this judge that said there's probable cause. No, there was no probable cause whatsoever. You know, I got the right to say what I want to say. I got the right to do what the hell I want to do. That's my constitutional right. So many courts ruled in favor of me, of my constitutional rights, of everybody's constitutional rights. You know, one thing that I really loved about this Judge Ruth, she says here, Justice wrote that those who, despite of the constitutional rights, can shove a fat one up their ass. This judge was hard. Excuse me. This judge was awesome, man. I admired this judge. I love that judge. One thing I remember about her was that I remember a lot of cases that went up in front of her and all of the other Superior Court judges in the United States. Excuse me. And one thing that she believed in was women's rights and freedom of speech, no matter how nasty it was, anything. And she's right. You got the right to say what you want to say. Congress cannot fringe on freedom of speech, freedom of press, and freedom of expression. You got the right to say what you want to say. And the best thing about it all is when she got right here, right there, if you can see the bottom line, she got right there. You could stick it up your ass. And I like her fingers right there, man. That is one awesome judge. And she didn't hold her mouth for nobody, man. That's one thing I liked about her. And she passed away, though. But it was a 7-2 ruling in the United States Superior Court. And her outcome was, her statement was, no court in the United States should have the right or the ability to overrule what the forefathers put down out there of the Constitution, of freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of expression. Okay? And then she goes, whatever the hell you want is not only, whatever the hell you want is not only a forefathers' Constitution, but we will not remove or rewrite the Constitution under no circumstances. Congress has no authority to rewrite the constitutional rights. She was an awesome judge, man. This lady was an awesome judge. She spoke without no hesitation, and she spoke what's on her mind, and she did not fear any other opponents or any of her colleagues whatsoever. We got to keep our freedom and our constitutional rights. The hell what they say. The Constitution is successful in this nation and it will remain successful in this nation. The Bill of Rights is the Constitution of the United States. Nor Congress, nor any judge that holds an office has a right to try to rewrite the constitutional rights. That is the law of the land and the common law of the land. You know. Then this one guy, he goes, when they try to overturn a couple of things in the Constitution, they stated that it's not going to happen. This is what's so funny here. It says here, plaintiff clearly brought this suit without reading the fucking Bill of Rights. I am not referred to in thought generally in the description of the constitutional law, but rather the 15 fucking sentences it takes to read the Amendment 1, because after 230 goddamn years of the U.S. Constitution, and the general citizens ought to know their own First Amendment rights. Now, this comes from another judge. This was funny. He comes straight out and he says this in the paper. Fuck Americans. Fuck the amendment. But it seems that gang of hillbillies is too busy to recognize that they are so based up in a book, so it reveals it does not have fucking amount of the speech. I can barely see this. My eyes are going bad. I mean, this is what this judge says. Justice Barry is opening opinion. He's something else, man. Justice Breyer. And then his last word is Jesus bluing backwoods crackers, motherfuckers like that. Now these judges, their statements are on there where they cursing and everything else. You see? So how you gonna say because I curse to call somebody racist and he's calling people hillbillies and stuff? We got that right. We got that right. And you know what's so funny about this charge here? What's so ironic about it is that we're looking over everything, right? And my buddy, he's like, let's check out the videos again. So we checking them out, and they writing, and I'm writing. What they did not put in a so-called police report. What they did was they put in a police report, and this judge made a ruling just by what was in the police report, not by law, not by what the Constitution said. See, if these judges knew anything about the Constitution, even these prosecutors, they wouldn't go after nobody. But you see, the best thing about it is, come on after me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I got a right to appeal. If you put me in jail every day, I got a right to sue you for the $145,000 a day in jail, in prison, whatever. I got that constitutional right. You see, and you can't even stop that because I could sue you in prison. We all have that constitution. I don't lose that right there. I could sue you in prison. I could take your house. I could take your car. I could make you and your family starve. I could sue you in prison because you are not above the law. There's no such thing as immunity. Once you violate the United States Superior Court rule, and every Superior Court rule, judges and prosecutors lose immunity once they violate the constitutional rights. Once they violate your constitutional rights, false imprisonment, false charges, false arrest, false booking, fingerprints and all of that because I was not found guilty. You had no right to fingerprint me and picture me and put it all over the fucking news, put it all over the internet. Then I told this judge, I said, I already seen my case on the website from Zoom. And he tells me something like, well, their Zoom is different. No, your Zoom is not different. My last court hearing, you see on Google, me telling the judge, I don't understand this, man. I don't understand this. I don't consent to this. I don't know how many times I had to say this to this man, you know? And he still kept, I'll cut your mic off. I'll cut your mic. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now you're in violation because I got a right to speak. I have the right to be heard. I have that constitutional right to be heard. I got rights. I got rights. You charged me with a felony. I got constitutional rights as a prisoner. I got that right. You know, I got the right to be heard, whether you like it or not. I got that constitutional right to be heard in court, you know, and I'm saying the same thing over and over and over, you know, and the funny thing about it is I never gave no consent for none of this, you know. I never gave no consent. Nothing's in my writing. Nothing. I didn't sign nothing whatsoever, you know. Then they violate. So I tell this attorney, I said, well, wait a minute. I got bailed out. Okay, went for my arraignment. So right there at my arraignment, I'm supposed to have 60 days to go to trial. You violated that right there. There's no way to go around that whatsoever. You violated that right there, you know, and false imprisonment, false charges, kidnap. Yeah, you know, yeah. I'm going after them what the law says I got the right to do, what the Constitutional Bill of Rights says I got the right to do, you know. And so I'm looking at all of this and we're looking up thing. Wait a minute, it doesn't say in there, in none of the reports, what it says on the video. So yes, we marking everything down and we different highlighting it and stuff. It says, yeah. So we got to play the video because on the video, it says I'm coming after you by law, by what the law says I got a right to do. I got the right to sue you, violating of my constitutional rights. I'm coming after you what the federal law says. Under 1983, on the color of law. And that's what I filed. That's what I filed. And now I got to put this judge into the lawsuit too. Because as we read in his order, he never watched the videos. And we still don't know what 4 videos. One video was completely overdone. And I tried to tell that attorney, and I'm looking at all of the videos, the 4 videos they claim that they got, right? So the 4 videos they got ain't got nothing to do with this case. That's the funny thing about it. The 4 videos they got has nothing to do with this case whatsoever. Has nothing to do with this case. 95% of this police report, 95% of what they got on this court order has nothing to do with my freedom of speech. Nothing to do with what I said. So they say here, he puts a note out here that the contents of law, probable cause exists where the facts led a person to engage in a hostile and an honest and strong scripture that the person under conditions is guilty of a crime. Wait a minute. What the fuck? So you already got me found guilty just by your words, but I'm not guilty of no crime. There was never no probable cause. No probable cause was, so we going to trial. My trial is not going to be no 2 days. I'm going pro per. I got the right to defend myself. That's my constitutional. You see, understand something, people. Fuck what a judge says. Fuck what a prosecutor say. We got the right to represent ourselves. Their rules and regulations are for them, not for us. We got that constitutional right to represent ourselves. It says only one thing in the Bill of Rights. You got a right to counsel, not a right to an attorney. It doesn't say nothing in the constitutional right about a right to an attorney whatsoever. It says you got a right to counsel. A right to counsel. So they tried to switch the words around, put new words, take one word out and put a new word in. So they took out counsel out and put attorney. No, that's void. Because the original constitutional right does not say nothing about an attorney. It says counsel. It says counsel. You got a right to represent yourself. That's what the constitutional right says. You have a right to represent yourself. Represent yourself. I will be representing myself under the Disability Act with an activist. They're with me, period. Period. You know? And so I'm thinking, I'm like, well, wait a minute. All attorneys, from public defenders, private attorneys, judges, they refuse to go by what the United States Superior Court ruled. Isn't that funny? They saying to hell with what these judges got to say, and they are their bosses. You cannot, once you violate the United States Superior Court ruling on freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression, you ain't gonna be a judge no longer. One thing a judge hates, when you file complaints on them. And in this police report, this guy goes, well, there's no telling on who Mr. Keith was referring to statements to. There's one deputy says that straight out, okay? And then this other one goes, well, he called them racist people. You violated my constitutional rights. Okay, that's in there. And he states that multiple times through the videos. Multiple times I stated you violated my constitutional rights. But you see, he didn't put in there, which also is on the video, is that you allowed false testimony. You knowingly, willingly allowed false testimony, false evidence. Because that judge busted her in a lie. And right there, that judge was supposed to file charges on her and her attorney. That's just the only state in the United States that does not file perjury charges on the women or their attorney. But they'll do it in a heartbeat on the guys. They'll do it in a heartbeat on the guys. Yeah, but not on a woman. Not on a woman. Not on a woman. Nah, not even murder charges or nothing like that. No. She lied right in front of that judge's face. A woman could lie for another woman. That's what a woman could do. A woman could lie for another woman. So, like, did they investigate this? No. This is what their lousy investigation was. They just watched the videos. That's all they did. They just watched the videos. My other three videos that they claimed as evidence, there's no threats in there, nobody. No threats whatsoever. There's all this is right here is retaliation, racially profiling, just to give me a case. That's what this is. And the videos they put up there has nothing to do with 2023. That's the funny thing. The other three videos that they claim has nothing to do with 2023. I'm talking about my experience out in Minnesota. How racist some of the motherfuckers are in Minnesota. They some racist Klansmen in Minnesota, in the courthouses. And the bad thing about it, you got some Spanish people in the courthouses too, and they racist. They racist. You know, and I got that right to say that. I have that constitutional right to say that they racist. And that's all they put in here. Well, he calls them racist. He calls the judge racist, discriminated. I got that right to say that. It's in the constitutional rights, Bill of Rights. I got the right to call you whatever the hell I want to call you. I have that constitutional right. So this judge put in here, I hurt someone's feelings. I don't give a damn if I hurt your feelings. Now I don't care. You know, at first I did care. I'm like, well, you know, I made a video. I apologize, you know, because that's not me, but I was emotionally gone, you know, couldn't be in court. refused to give me another court date. He literally, that clerk literally said he refused to give you another court date. So I got a lawsuit on the clerk of the court and on her supervisor. They're in the lawsuit because they violated Superior Court rulings when the clerk of the court is handed paperwork. She has no right. She has no right to contact the other party's attorney's office by order of the judge. She has no right to contact the other party's attorney's office whatsoever. She has no right to tell me, well, we got to contact her attorney. That come out of that clerk's mouth. We got to contact her attorney. She ain't got no attorney no more. The attorney was moved years ago. So what right do you got to tell me you got to contact her attorney and send her attorney your paperwork? She didn't have no attorney at that time. The courts removed him. You know, you have no right, and the judge has no right to tell you to contact her last attorney. You know, and that's what the clerk of the court does in Minnesota. And then she tells me, well, I got to bring this to the judge to let the judge. It's up to the judge whether the judge wants you to file this. No judge can stop you from filing anything. That's straight discrimination, violation of every law other than the constitutional rights. You got a right to file your lawsuit. You got a right to have them served. We have that constitutional right, you know. Now I'm putting up. I got about 116 witnesses that's coming to my trial, and Terry Watkins coming to my trial too. So I'll be getting out 116 subpoenas to come to trial. They're gonna fly out here, and I got people coming from certain areas to verify I didn't violate no rules and regulations. See, that's the funny thing. Their legal team at YouTube said he didn't violate nothing. He didn't threaten nobody. He didn't bully nobody. But yet, in this thing here, it says about harassment and bullying. And one thing YouTube knows about is harassment and bullying. So how the hell you gonna say I harassed somebody and bullying? False charges again. False charges. This judge made a statement of false charges on his order. He committed perjury on his order. Wait a minute, these people got the best attorneys in the world that can beat any judge's ass in court and everything else. And they say there's no harassment, there was no threats, no terrorist threats, no nothing. The police spoke to me, there was no threats. Homeland Security spoke to me, there was no threats. FBI kept calling me, there was no threats. So how the fuck can these people say that there was threats? I forgot, because they're all white. And retaliation. FBI did a report. No matter what crime it is, when it comes to an African American, they'll always find probable cause. And they'll always turn around and file other false charges on an African American. They'll always do that to file other false charges on an African American. That comes out of the FBI report. There's more African Americans in America that has a hard time of cases getting thrown out when they didn't have probable causes. So they got to go through the bullshit. And then they rack up other charges on them. False charges, which is perjury. Like this dude did. Disorderly conduct. There's one case that's already won in California about disorderly conduct, where the judge says you had no probable cause. The man got the right to wear and say what he want to say. You have no right. Let me see, where's that case at? It's out of California, 2021. because the guy had a sign on his shirt that said, fuck you. And so they locked him up. And the California Superior Court ruled that there was no probable cause. A person can say, this is the case right here in California. Okay. This happened in June 2020, and he won his appeal in 2020, and it went out printing. He won his appeal in 2021. He won his appeal, and he also was granted to sue for $140 for each day that he was out on bail and for arrest, and because they took his picture and fingerprints, and they posted it online. Okay, and it says here, the appeals court of California, the appellate court of California ruled in his favor, says that you cannot violate someone's constitutional right to freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of expression whatsoever. It is protected no matter what words they use or how they use it. They can curse, they can swear, they can say F you, they can say fuck a pig, drop dead pig, whatever. That falls under the category of freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Okay, freedom of expression. All right. He should have never been locked up. He should have never been fingerprinted and pictured under no circumstances whatsoever, because there was no probable cause to lock someone up for freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression. That is one thing that the forefathers gave us, was freedom. Wow, that's deep, man. That is deep. He got stopped because he had "fuck you" on his shirt. And then there's another case because the guy said, fuck the military, fuck the draft, right? The same thing. He filed a lawsuit, you know? And then it goes right here. Any person, any law enforcement or judge or prosecutor tries to enforce a law of violation of the constitutional rights, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression, is liable for the charges of false imprisonment, false charges, false arrests, kidnapped. That's what it says in the case. California Appeals Court ruled in this guy's favor. First appeal. So we're not going there. We're not going to keep violating these people's constitutional rights, man. All courts are doing this now, man. They're not having this shit no more where these DAs want to violate your constitutional rights, you know? And then here's another one. The U.S. Superior Court on Tuesday ruled that Colorado violates a man's First Amendment rights by sending him to prison for harassment after he was convicted of sending hundreds of thousands of messages to a singer. Okay? The decision was a 7-2 decision. All right? And it's funny how this guy now got a civil lawsuit in Colorado. It's $240,000 a day when he was in prison. And it goes against the state, the prosecutor, and the officers that arrested him. And guess what? Colorado has no immunity for no prosecution, for no judges, for no police. They lost that. And one thing I love about Colorado is the law that they passed was that any law enforcement cuts off their body cam, they get locked up for tampering with evidence. And whatever statement they wrote is thrown out. All states. You got Michigan the same way. You got New Mexico the same way. Nevada's almost there completely, where they're getting rid of immunity. A lot of states is getting rid of immunity, and other states should be following right behind, man. This is another one. This ruling just struck down. This ruling just came out 2023 for the Colorado dude. U.S. Superior Court says Colorado violated man's First Amendment rights. Guy here says, Judge, United States Superior Court judge states that prosecutors got to understand right now that we cannot overlook the Constitution of freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression. Prosecutors got to think very carefully before trying to prosecute someone for that violation of their constitutional rights, because it will come back and hurt them very dearly. And it hurts the city once the city either goes through or sits down and deals with a settlement. Colorado man was convicted of sending messages and threatening someone. And he wasn't even threatening nobody, and during oral arguments, his attorney stated that there was no threats because they take things out of context. That means that it's a threat. No, it's not no threat whatsoever. He has a right to say what he wants to say, print, advertise, etc., because that's his constitutional rights. He has a right to do that. So now they're looking at a big lawsuit for millions of dollars. And 4 judges, well, it was a 7-2 vote, and the 7 judges, one lady justice stated that they have to stop violating people's rights. That's what the forefathers put down there for us. We have a right to freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression. No matter how bad the language is or whatever, we got that constitutional right. And it is a shame that you got to think before you file charges on an individual of threats, because the person could have a mental illness, the person could have a breakdown or something in that nature, or mental stress, something in that nature. Something has to reveal this. Something had to start this to happen. It just doesn't happen automatically, and prosecutors got to start looking at these things before they start charging people with a threat when there's no threat there. There's no threat there whatsoever. You cannot go by what a police report says. And he was charged with disorderly conduct for what he said, for what he was arrested also for disorderly conduct. And there's no such law on the books that they could think of. Now this is the appeals court. This was U.S. Superior Court said in Colorado, there's no such law in the books that I can think of or ever seen or heard of that is disorderly conduct when it comes to posting something or sending somebody Facebook messages. No such thing. There's no such law. So we don't understand how he got charged with disorderly conduct. One judge says that's because the prosecutor was reaching to add charges on the defendant. Freedom of speech is the great value that we have in the United States. No one can take that from us, and no one should be allowed to even fight that in court, because we have the constitutional right of freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression. That is one great value of life that we have in the United States. We are the only country in the world that has freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of expression. No matter how nasty the words are, whatever, we have that constitutional rights. This is out of Colorado. Recently. It's out of Colorado. Recently. And it's good because of the fact that people got to understand we got a constitutional right, man. And 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 this is what I love so much about it. And my buddy said, "Nah, show it on your video, man." That beautiful judge right there that passed away. She said it all. I don't know if you can see her little writing right there, but she says right there. She says right there. Let me see. She says right there, wrote those words, those who, despite her intentions, and those who, despite the Constitution, can shove a fat one up their ass. And I like her fingers. That was one beautiful justice lady right there. She was beautiful. Ruth something, man. I can't even pronounce her last name. Freedom of speech. You can say, fuck you. You can put your fingers up. You got that right. You got that right. You got that right. You got that constitutional right. And I'm going way back to other cases that she ruled on the freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and also violation, false imprisonment, and everything else that she ruled on. She was her and the rest of those judges stated back in 2009 that judges can be sued. Judges can be sued. They can be liable for violation of the Constitution. In other words, false imprisonment, false charges, the works. They're liable. They're liable. Excuse me. I've been sick like a dog, man. I've been really sick. I don't know what the hell I have, man. I don't know what the hell I have. Well, I've been sad, man. I've been really down. This has always been a time of the month for me really bad. From last month to this month, I lost family members back home at 9/11, friends, and it hurts. It hurts a lot. You know, let me tell y'all people, man, whoever got kids and mothers and fathers, man, y'all lucky. Y'all need to tell your moms you love them, man, and tell your dad you love them. You don't know how it is, man. Y'all are lucky to have a mother and father. Y'all are really lucky. You know, y'all really lucky. They really are. You know, I don't have no family, you know, and y'all really lucky to have a mom and dad. You need to tell your mom and dad you love them. Stop fighting with them and stuff, you know, and you're really lucky. You're really lucky to have family and stuff. Friends ain't shit. Friends are backstabbers, you know. I already learned that. You know what? I noticed that everybody that I ever met out in Minnesota, they backstabbers. I have never met an honest person in Minnesota. Well, maybe 3 people I met. 3 people in Minnesota. I met a guy that lived in the back. He's pretty cool. And I met a lady and her husband. I think she's a school teacher or something, or worked for the courts or something, but she's pretty cool too. Oh man, she grew these hot peppers. Whoo, Lord have mercy. Them things give you the runs, man. But they pretty cool. And they're white. They pretty cool. I never experienced nothing with them, but they're pretty nice people. They got 2 beautiful dogs, man. I like to see them when they come out though. I haven't seen them in a long time though, but they pretty cool people. They're really nice people. And the guy in the back, he's really nice too, you know. And then this one girl that I was talking to, she decided to go into the National Guards. And I told her, don't do that. Don't do that. You're You're gonna be brainwashed. Don't go for that bullshit. You know, don't go for that bullshit with the National Guard says and stuff, because understand something. When you in the National Guards and they say go kill your father or your sister or your brother, you got to do it. That's what the National Guards is about. You know, if anything happens, we go into a civil war in the United States, and if any of your family members or friends there, you got to kill them. That's that. There's no ifs and no buts. The same with all the military. You got to kill your own family members. No ifs and no buts. You know, that's what that's about. You know, and that's pitiful, man. That's how much brainwash that the military has on us, man. You know, and our government has on people, man. And it's crazy. It's really crazy, man. You know, but y'all people need to really thank your moms and dads, man. But Minnesota, all I've seen in Minnesota is some racist people. And I thought California was bad, but out here in Minnesota, they do it sneaky. They do it. You got them in the courts. I think I seen this one attorney that matter of fact, two attorneys, while I was going through my divorce, didn't like the judge because point blank, they just did. There was an African-American guy that was going through a divorce, and then there was, I think, a Spanish guy or something, and then there was this white guy. And because he doesn't have money, the judge was totally against him. You know, the judge was totally against. What I heard one of the clerks call him white trash. Yeah, I heard one of the clerks call him white trash when I was sitting out there and stuff. Yeah, that courthouse, man, needs to be shut down. Every one of them need to be fired. There's no African Americans that work in that courthouse. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. They're all white people. And that's your problem right there. You know, a little town that don't know nothing about the laws. And them judges don't care about what the United States Superior Court rules or anything. See, but that's in our favor because they can't stop that, you know. Once you file a motion where it says what the United States Superior Court ruled, they got to go by that right there. Every judge got to go by what the United States Superior Court ruled and the Superior Court ruled. They have to go by their ruling. Their ruling. Because if they don't, they're in big trouble. Once you file a complaint on them and they do not follow the rules of the law, they can be removed. And they will be removed. Because then you got a bigger suit against the state. Then you have a bigger suit against the state. You know, and people got to understand that. They got to follow the letter of the law. Like this judge, this is how I know the judge did not even, they made the report to make the report look better for the courts, right? And when Terry read the report, Terry Watkins, we was going over the report with Terry Watkins. He said, wait a minute, I'm looking at your videos. You didn't say all of that. I says, nah. So what other 3 videos they telling about? I said, I don't know. I'm one of the videos that was sent to me. Well, I told the guy, stop sending me these little things because I don't got no way to open nothing up. You got to send me everything by mail. You know, I'm old fashioned, everything on paper. You know, I don't got no CDC player. I don't got none of that. So I can't open up no hard drives and none of that stuff. I don't know how to do that, you know? And so then when I took it to Terry and we're watching it, I said, wait a minute, that video is not from 2023. That video is from 2000. So what the hell are they talking about 2023? You know, like I said, 95% of the whole police report is all bogus. They did not tell the truth. You know, they didn't put in there, well, he said that he's going to go after them what the law says that he has a right to do and under the constitutional rights. That's what he said that he's going to do. He's going to go after them with what the law says. That ain't a threat. There's no way everybody even said that ain't no threat. No, they just hate you, man. They hate you. So yeah, they hate me. This is a hate crime that they're doing on me. Straight fucking hate crime, which is against the law. Straight hate crime. And then I got a call one day from somebody telling me that the judge's husband was going to beat me up or something, or kill me or something like that, right? So a associate of mine called the FBI. Told the FBI. Yeah, told the FBI, you know, because I got a call from an unknown number, and it was a 952 number, I think it was, or something like that. I still got the recording. And so they called me one day and they said, hey, Mr. Malillo, be careful. They're trying to set you up. I'm like, what? Who? It was these individuals at the courthouse and this individual's husband. And she overheard them. And she overheard a conversation too where these judges didn't even know that my video was made. Okay, didn't even know this. Didn't even know my videos were made, you know? And this one person called everybody and stuff, and that's how they found out that my videos were made. But they never knew my videos was made, you know? So why is it so important that you keep watching my videos to try to get me locked up for? So now I'm going after this person again, you know? And what's so funny is that it says in the Constitution, we got a right to sue. So once a judge says a lawsuit is frivolous, no such word. Every lawsuit that you file is not frivolous. Every lawsuit. So not only did these judges violate the legislation's laws, their rules and regulations that they put out there, they violated the letter of the law. And they proved discrimination against me, hate, retaliation was the biggest one that I got on their asses. Retaliation, violation of my constitutional rights, violation of my first, seventh, sixth, seventh, and eighth, violation of due process of law, conspiracy, and I put on there also in the lawsuit RICO Act, organized crime, because they're corrupt. And I put on there corrupt judges and prosecutor, corrupt judge, corrupt court system, corrupt judges, corrupt DAs, corrupt justice system, corrupt judges, corrupt DAs, and their names are there with corruption. Corrupt, RICO Act, in violation of the RICO Act, in violation of organized crime, because they organize crime. They organize crime. Conspiracy, extortion, that's what I'm suing them for. Conspiracy, extortion, the works. The works. I'm suing them for, I'm going straight out. I'm going straight out. How they say it, I'm going straight out for every dime that they have. For every penny that they own, I'm going straight out. Straight out. Straight out. Copies already mailed out to the individuals. Now I got to finish getting this out. I got to get this registered and everything. Once I get this registered, and then get it notarized and get them all sent out. All sent out. Certified mail. All sent out. And I got the right to send them out by mail because I don't got no family. I don't got no friends. So I got a right to do it because I'm pro per. I have a right to send this out to them by certified mail, take a picture of everything. The green card got to come back. So when they said proof of service, certified mail, right there, and I got that constitutional right. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that I don't have the right to send them certified mail. There's nothing in the constitutional right that says I got to pay or anything like that. Nothing in the constitutional rights says that. You know, that's the rules and regulations. Rules and regulations was already decided in the Superior Court. Rules and regulations, the codes and all of that is for government employees only, not the private citizen. Read your constitutional rights, man. Read not this bullshit state constitution. Fed constitution overrides state constitution. No ifs and no buts. It's like when it says when you arrested, you have to be immediately taken in front of a magistrate or a judge. Immediately. Immediately means noun. Immediately. Immediately means noun. Look up the word in the dictionary. Immediately. Immediately means noun. Not when they decide to. Not 46 hours, 26 hours, 72 hours. It says immediately. Immediately. See, they put all of these laws in there to give them more time, which shouldn't be. It should be against the law to give them more time to prosecute you. That's what they do. Because the prison system is a slave system. Oh, and I also put in there in a lawsuit about slavery. Yeah, they're trying to put me into slavery. Yeah. They're trying to put me into slavery. But yeah, they bogus. They didn't put, they put what they wanted to put in the police report. That's what they did to make the police report look good, but it doesn't look good whatsoever because you keep coming back to the same thing. You got a right to say what you want to say. I got a right to call them racist because they are racist, you know? And what's so funny was, if you wasn't racist, why are you bitching? That's the funny thing about it. If I didn't speak the truth, why you filed false charges on me? I didn't speak the truth. You're racist. And I got a right to sue racist people. I got that constitutional right to sue them. I got the right to fight them in court. I got the right to present my case. I got a right to sue. I got a right to take them and win my case and take them to the bank for everything they own. I got that constitutional right to do that. I have that right to do that. And you see, the funny thing about it is everything I'm saying is 1,000% true. Everything I'm saying is 1,000% true, you know. And I was looking up all of my motions that I filed and stuff like that in my affidavit, and even in my affidavit and in my motion that I asked for this case, right? For my divorce, right? I filed a motion, and I stated in my motion that she violated my constitutional rights, and I'll be filing a lawsuit under the color of law, 1983. Said it in my motion. Yeah, said it in my motion and in my affidavit. Showing up did. You know? And what's so funny how they did this here was they just issue a warrant. No nothing. No complaint. No, this is how we know that this is straight retaliation and hate. Because regardless if it was a misdemeanor or a felony, first thing they should have did was interviewed me, but they never did. Nobody's ever talked to me at all. Nobody's ever talked to me. And I called this deputy twice, and he refused to return my calls. I said, well, I'll call my attorney, and we'll meet you up. You know, let me know. You know, let me know. And the funny thing about it is I'm not getting everything that was supposed to be by law. You know, this is the funny thing about it. Just says here, statement, you know, and no affidavit, no copy of an affidavit, no copy of an affidavit whatsoever. Yeah, no copy of an affidavit. So I looked up these codes right here for disorderly conduct. And guess what? Nothing in there about videos. Nothing in there on this code here, disorderly conduct, on 609.72.1. Nothing in there that says anything in there about videos. Posted on YouTube, posted on the internet or anything. See, this is how I know it's retaliation and hate, because you filed a false charge of disorderly conduct just to add charges. That's conspiracy. That's hate. That's what the constitutional right says, and that's what the Black Dog Dictionary says. This falls under hate and retaliation. Filed 2 charges of disorderly conduct, offense and abusive behavior. I got the right to say what I want to say. This right here is what's going to get This DA sued the biggest of them all because he filed false charges on everything. False charges. False charges. So they think there's going to be in that little Hicktown courthouse, but it's not. It's not. It's not. Because I hate those people there. And those people hate blacks. Straight up, they hate blacks. That's a known fact. They are the discriminated person courthouse there. I filed so many complaints against that courthouse, so they cannot have it in that courthouse. It's being moved to big city. That's where I'm having it at, my trial. It's not going to be 2 days. It's not going to be 2 days. Because it takes 30 days to watch all the videos. I got close to 300, 500 and something videos. Yeah. And the jury will listen to, the jury members will watch the videos and see, and they'll have a copy of the police report. And they're going to be like, wait a minute. This police report is totally different from what he's saying. Y'all committed conspiracy against this man. Y'all filed false charges, false statements. Again, there's that word again, false statements. They committed perjury. They committed perjury, and no one, when it comes to federal court, prosecutors can be sued for perjury. Judges can be sued for perjury. Judge just got sued big time, and the prosecutor. They just got sued big time. And what was so ironic about it is that they thought they were untouchable. And the court ruled in the guy's favor. He says, nah, you got a right to sue the judge and the prosecutor. And we ruled in his favor. They ruled in the guy's favor, man. Yep, they ruled in his. I'm gonna pull it up. I got it right here. Where this judge and prosecutor got sued. The judge got sued for $30.5 million, violation of his constitutional rights. And the prosecutor got sued in federal court. Prosecutor got sued too for $400 and something million. I'm going to tell y'all what state that was in. Right now, I got it here. I was like, well, I know judges and prosecutors can't get sued. That's a known fact. All right, here it is right here. This judge here.
You probably heard that today, the 30th of August, 2023, there has been a case which has changed Australian judicial history. And there has, because something.
And there's one here in
that is, a
Israeli.
judge has been sued in their personal capacity for a determination they made on the bench. I've been seeing a lot of misinformation floating around about this case, so I'm going to give you
this judge got sued
what happened
for false imprisonment, false charges, and it was successful too. Judge got sued.
You probably heard that today, the 30th of August,
breaking
2023, there has been a case which has changed Australian judicial history, and there has.
Australian
happened that's never happened before.
Judge got sued and prosecutor got sued. Judge has been successfully sued for false imprisonment, false charges, false allegations, the works. And the prosecutor got sued for false imprisonment, false charges, false allegations, and falsified false documents to the courts and perjury. The judge got sued in Australia. He got sued in it says here he got sued for $5.6 million in federal court, judge. And the prosecutor got sued for over 45 point something million dollars. Yeah. Now, there's another one here in California. California judge gets sued in federal court for $75.7 million for false imprisonment 2023 of January 15, 2023. The ruling came in by the panel of 12 jurors. False imprisonment, false allegations, and perjury. The prosecutor got sued for over $266 million in federal court in California. False charges, false imprisonment, kidnapped, posting the guy's picture, fingerprints, and pictures on the internet in California, 2023, January. Yeah. And then there's one in Texas. Texas judge in Superior Court got sued in federal court close to $1.5 million. Judges are getting sued every day in federal court. See, one thing I like about these federal judges is the difference of these state judges is that in federal court, they go by what the Constitution. Once you violate the Constitution, you ain't got no wins. And you see, Superior Court in every state ruled, once a judge or a prosecutor violates your constitutional rights, you have the right to bring action against them. There's no ifs and no buts. You got that constitutional right to bring action against them, and you got that right for damages. Mine is emotional distress, all the way down. Financially, physically, all the way down. You know, mentally, all the way down. I'm going after them. There's no ifs and no buts, man. I don't feel good, man. Peace out. I don't feel good. Hey, to all my brothers and sisters back home in New York, I miss you. 9/11 is coming up. It'll be 20 years, 22 years, I think. And it sucks. It really sucks, man. We lost a lot of good people. I blame the government because the government was involved in 9/11. It had nothing to do with bin Laden, none of them. Saddam Hussein, it has nothing to do with the Muslims. That was all from our own president, ex-president at the time, Bush. That was all his doing, you know. And Africa, I'm with you 1,000%. In the United States, we got to start waking up like other countries are waking up, man. You know, we're not going to take this no longer, man. That's it, man. That's it. You know, that's it. There ain't going to be no old white folks on my jury. Matter of fact, there ain't going to be no white folks, period, but maybe one. But there ain't going to be nobody that works for law enforcement because I got that constitution. Matter of fact, anybody that works for law enforcement cannot be a jury member. That's number one. That's in the Constitution. And their family members can't be jury members. No law enforcement family members could be jury members. But you know what's so funny about being a jury? It picked me for being a jury. And I said, let me get this straight here. You want to try to convince me that this man committed a crime. But now you want this guy to have jury of his peers. And let me explain something to you, man. The peers that I know are some stupid motherfuckers. You know, they are really some stupid son of a bitches out there, man. So I'm fucked with jury of my peers. Let me see. I don't drink, never did. Don't mess with drugs, never did, never will. I don't cheat. I don't lie. I'm an honest person. So it's going to be hard for me to find a jury of my peers, you know. I hate racist people. I don't like racist people at all. I really don't, man. I really don't. I've seen enough of that when I was a child, man. And I've seen enough white sheets and all of that shit when I was a kid, man, you know. And but nah, man, it's going to have to be, you see, everything's going to come out because you see, I still don't got an affidavit. I still don't got nothing that was supposed to be handed to me from this public defender's office, man. I still don't. All I see is just a warrant, complaint warrant. No summary. See, if this wasn't hate right here, and the judge don't know nothing. These judges in these courts out in Minnesota don't know nothing about the constitutional rights. They put in their rulings what they want to put in their rulings, and this is why this case gonna get dismissed, because I'm filing my own dismissal, and they got to go by what the United States Superior Court ruled. They can't do nothing but go by that, and this right here alone says it all. Even Terry Watkins read it and said, no, that's number one. That case getting thrown out. Yeah, it's getting thrown out. Right here it says, I got a right to curse. And then also with the Alabama case, the Superior Court ruled out there in Alabama, you got the right to curse the police out. You got the right to defend yourself. You got the right to fight them if they put their hands on you. You got that constitutional right to protect yourself. Their own Superior Court ruled that. So that's another case I'm throwing up in there. It's gonna get dismissed, man. I'm not going nowhere, man. And if they go ahead and they push the issue, I'm going pro per. So I got witnesses to bring out here. I got witnesses that have to be subpoenaed. I'll be showing every video, and the videos they're gonna see are the same ones that they claim that they watched. And what they watched is not what they said in their police report is not on the videos whatsoever. They didn't put everything up. Matter of fact, they put what they want to put on there. They took words out of one video and put into this statement. They took words out of here and put into this statement here is what they did. They switched the words around. And I tried to tell that attorney that, but he didn't want to hear it. That's how I know this fucker wasn't for me. That's why I knew that he was not for me. All right. And so I know what I said, and and y'all can watch it. It happened on January 3rd, 2023. And I also one on January 5th, 2023, where I even apologized if I hurt your feelings and stuff. But now, I don't care, man, about nobody's feelings, because the Constitution right says they don't care about your feelings. We got the right to say what we want to say. We can call you whatever the hell we want to call you, racist and everything else. And the funny thing about it is that's all this so-called deputy or chef, whatever, says. He calls them racist. Oh, that's a bad word to call somebody they racist. They white race bastards and bitches and motherfuckers. I got the right to say that. I have the right to say that. I have a right to say you violated my constitutional rights. I got that constitutional right to say that. I have that right. Understand, I'm suing every one of y'all. I got that constitutional right to sue you for violating my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 14th Amendment, 13th Amendment. I have that constitutional right to sue your asses. Got the constitutional right to file my 1983 under color of law. Discrimination and hate. And that's what I'm going after all these son of a bitches for. You got moms and dads? Love them, man. Y'all lucky. Y'all very lucky. I have nobody, no family, no nothing. I have nobody. I had my service dog, passed away. Kind of hurts real bad. Somebody poisoned him. But hey, what the hell, Somebody asked me, why you didn't call the police? Man, fuck the police. They're going to do something. Like, they're going to fucking do something. Stop saying call the fucking police. The police don't do a goddamn thing. They some racist motherfuckers, man. See on the news every fucking day, busting into people's houses and stuff. Man, I wish I would bust up into my motherfucking house, man. I got the right to defend my property. I got the right to defend myself, you know. And these people, man, they just, man, don't go to Minnesota. Whoever you are, if you moving to Minnesota, you got problems. Because if you're African American, Spanish, even the Spanish hates their own kind. That's the bad thing about it. Even the Spanish hates their own kind. You know, I saw one day. I saw this Mexican person go off on another Mexican person, telling another Mexican, "Go back to your country." Y'all white people need to go back to your country because America is not your country. Every one of you white son of bitches is from Europe. Your ancestors are from Europe. You was rapists, murderers, child molesters. And that's another thing. There's a police officer in Minnesota that got 25 years probation, no prison time for sexually assaulting a child. You know the damage you do to a child. And that judge need to be, anytime a judge does something like that without giving a person 25 years to life for sexually assaulting a child or raping a woman, they do the same thing. Them prosecutors do the same thing. That's how you know why they get away with that, why law enforcement and judges and DAs get away with sexual assaulting and raping women, because they do the same thing. Allah bear me witness, they do the same thing. They do the same thing. They do the same thing, you know, and it's there's only one guy in the history of mankind that ever got a 200, and he wasn't all white. Okay, he was not white. He was not all white. All right, he's the only one that got a 200 and something years in prison for raping black women. He was the only law enforcement officer that ever got a 200 and something years in prison for raping black women. The only one. Now, if there were white women or kids, he wouldn't have got no 200 and something years. He wouldn't have never got no time. He would have got smacked on the wrist. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. That's what he would have got. Smacked on the wrist, don't do it again. Yeah, he's the only one. This guy right here. That guy right there is the only one. The only one. And he's like, he's not even white, all white. He's half Asian and half white.
Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 16 years. Count 17, forcible oral sodomy. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy. Count 18, procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition. Count 19, procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition. Count 20, rape in the first degree. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of rape in the first degree. Count 21, sexual battery. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of sexual battery. Count 22, sexual battery. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of sexual battery. Count 23, sexual battery. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of sexual battery. Count 24, forcible oral sodomy. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy. Count 25, rape in the second degree by instrumentation. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of rape in the second degree. Count 26, indecent exposure. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of indecent exposure. Count 27, forcible oral sodomy. Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 16 years. Count 28, rape in the first degree. Defendant is guilty of the crime of rape in the first degree, and punishment is set at 30 years. Count 29, rape in the first degree. Defendant is guilty of the crime of rape in the first degree, and punishment is set at 30 years. and punishment is set at 8 years.
That's the only guy.
Count 15, procuring lewd exhibition.
That's the only guy. He got it. That son of a bitch there got it 200 and something years in prison. But what's so funny is that you can hear all of the other charges that he wasn't guilty of because he had all white jury. So when them white people, some of them racist white people and the jury members, when they do that and they say that you know this man's guilty of rape, raping a child and everything, and you let him go. So when your child get raped, don't go run into the police. Don't go run into the courts for help because you just let a rapist get away, you know? And that's the funny thing. Judge in Minnesota ordered this deputy or police officer, he was law enforcement. Now this man molested his own kinfolks, all right, for all them years. And this motherfucker got it 25 years probation. Now, let's see here. A Spanish raped a girl. Y'all put him away for life. A black raped a girl. Y'all put him away for life. But when it comes down to law enforcement and they're white, they get maybe 5 years, time served, out on parole, on probation, don't have to register as a sex offender. Wow. And y'all don't say that the law is racist. The law is very racist. Racially profiled, the works. The laws are against anything that's not all white. You got judges now that got busted in New York for locking kids up, making a profit, where they are doing time. We got to wake up and take back our government. We have to wake up. We, the people. See, it says in the Constitution, we run the government. The government does not run us. We allow them to either have a pay raise or not. We do. And you people are so stupid. And my buddy always said, why do you always say that? Because they are, man. I mean, look at society. Just look at society, how stupid they are. You got motherfuckers out here losing jobs in their homes. But those rich motherfuckers ain't losing a dime. Oh, check this out. When that place burnt down up in Hawaii, okay? Oprah Winfrey got on there with The Rock. Now, my buddy's kids threw everything that they own of The Rock away. Everything that they had, all the posters, signed posters of The Rock and the autographs that they got from The Rock when they went to the wrestling matches and saw The Rock and all of that stuff, they tore all of that away. They could not believe that he got up there with Oprah Winfrey. Period. They couldn't believe it, you know. And in Hawaii, when they made that statement, you know, they didn't care about the Hawaiian people. All they cared about was their property, point blank. Which you cannot own property in Hawaii because that's the Hawaiian government, which I don't even understand how. Well, the Hawaiian government is crooked. All right. But anyway, we got to wake up, people, because don't go. If you was on a jury member and let a rapist go, cop, sheriff, deputy, DA, judge, you let them get away with rape and sodomy and all of that, then you deserve the same thing that happened to yourself and your kids, because you didn't care about that person's child. You didn't care about that person, period. You know, you got the same thing, the same right to happen to you. You know, anytime you rape a woman or a child, in my eyes, my opinion, you shouldn't even live no more. You should get the death penalty. That's my opinion. Anytime you rape a child or a woman, you should be getting the death penalty. Man, there's too many damn prostitutes out there to be raping anybody. Anytime you rape a child or a woman, you should get the death penalty. That's what you should get, the death penalty. And all your appeals should be exonerated and put to death immediately. That's what you should get, the death penalty. Tell you something, overseas, in other countries, in Muslim countries, they cut your shit off. That's what they shit, you know? But it's like, now a white girl will lie on a person, you know, and that's been all over the news too, where, you know, white girl lied on this one guy saying she was raped by 2 black guys, and they found out that all of them years she'd never been touched by a black guy or anything, and she just lied and all of that. See, people that lie on police reports and stuff should be going to prison for at least 15 to 20 years. That's what they should be getting, not no slap on the wrist and all of that. There was a lady in Minnesota. She lied on some people, man, just to get back at her boyfriend. And I think she got 5 years probation, supervised probation. Now, oh, I forgot she's white. Damn it, I forgot she's white. I totally forgot she's white, man. There's nobody that respects the law no more. There's nobody that respects the constitutional rights, and we got to start fighting for that, man. Peace out. I got to take my medicine.